Hi, my name is Bruce and welcome to the first of my electric guitar for beginners videos. In this video I'm going to tell you everything you need to learn and know about starting up playing the guitar. If you already play the guitar, you probably want to shift to one of my other videos. Okay, so what are you going to need? Well, you're going to need yourself an electric guitar to start with. They're amazingly cheap these days and there's no reason why you can't pick up something very good and playable for 60-70 quid. I gig this professionally and it cost me less than £200. So anywhere in that ballpark and you're going to get yourself a really good playable instrument. I will put some bits and bobs on my Facebook group, like bargains of the week and stuff, when I see sort of good guitars come out at reasonable prices for beginners. Okay, so we're going to need to sort of understand and know a little bit about the guitar itself, the physical parts and etc. in order to be able to communicate. So, what have we got? Well, the main part here is the guitar body. The bit that protrudes out is the neck, and we can see there's the neck like that. On this side, the playing side of the neck, is what we call the fretboard. That's because these little bars that run all the way down it are actually the frets. Then at the end we have the headstock, that's this whole section here, and this has got what are either called tuning pegs or machine heads. Either term will do. Gathering these all together, making sure the strings are going in the right direction, we've got something called a nut. So not as a nut and a bolt, but as in a guitar nut is something that gathers all the strings and puts them in line. Okay, down the other end we've got the bridge. These take quite a few different shapes depending on the make and model of the guitar, but this part has got what's called a tune-o-matic and a stop tail. But anyway, everything down here that stops the strings or lifts them up off the body is part of the bridge. Okay, then here, these two chrome squares, once again, these can look a little bit different depending on the make and model. These are the pickups. They're basically microphones for guitar. They listen to anything metal that's shook in front of them. So if you talk down it like that, it doesn't really do anything. But anything metal like a guitar string will be picked up, the vibration, and come through the end. We then get some tone controls, volume controls, and a switch to pick which one of these pickups. We don't need to worry about that too much at the moment. You know that when you get a guitar, if you turn them all that way, it's going to make a noise, and that's all you need to know. Right, so then the other thing we also need to know is how to plug in our guitar once we've got it, because electric guitars obviously need to be plugged in. So you're going to need to get yourself a guitar lead or a 1/4 inch jack to jack. 1/4 inch is not the length of the cable, it could be any length. 1/4 inch is the size of the plug itself. So this is a jack plug and we get one on each end. These ones are angled. This one here, make a noise with the amp. This one here is a straight one. If you're going to buy yourself a Gibson Les Paul copy, or original one if you're a bit rich, or an SG, then you probably want an angled one like this. If you're going to get yourself a Stratocaster or something that's got a socket that's buried in the guitar like this one has, then the straight one's far better. Okay, then you need to get yourself an amp. I'm not going to go into great detail about amps right here, that could take up another whole video or even book. But I would recommend that you get something as basic and higher quality as you can afford. You can pick up nice amps second hand for around about £100. You can pick up perfectly usable things for 20 quid. And if you're not careful, you could also waste your money if you spend sort of like 300, 400, 500 quid. So maybe wait until you've been playing a bit longer, you know a bit more, before you can pick a good one. But all the ones with too much sort of built-in effects and gadgetry tend to have latency lag. They've got a processor in them, just like your computer. And then as you play, the notes don't come out instantaneously. So I'd say as simple, basic, high quality as you can afford. Okay, so that's everything we need. Via one item, possibly the most important. You're going to need a guitar tuner. Some guitar packs and teachers say, oh, you can save money and start with pitch pipes. They're very, very difficult to use, especially when you're just starting out. The harder you blow, the higher the pitch goes up a bit, so they're not even that accurate. And you can pick up a decent guitar tuner for about a tenner. So what this does is it has a needle on it, which is LCD, so you can't see it particularly well, but that's sort of mirror effect. That's within this screen. And then you've got some LEDs at the top that light up in different colours, and if I pluck a note, it's telling me that one's a little bit flat, minutely. The green light means in tune, and if it was the red light the other side, it would be sharp, and you quite simply turn up. Do take into account that the tuner doesn't know what string you're on, so you're going to need to know the names of the strings, and we'll do that right now. So, the thickest one is called the bottom E. Even though geographically it's normally on the top, we speak in pitch because we're musicians, so that's the bottom E. And that's bottom E because at the very other end, the skinniest one, is the top E. Now, in between we get A, D, G, B, and then back to that top E. Even a dog gets breakfast early, or many other sort of different variations on that. So you need to make sure that your guitar tuner is saying it's flat for an A, then keep pushing it till it's in tune, or it's sharp for a D, then drop it down till it's in tune. Use a little common sense. If the string seems really, really tight and the tuner's telling you it's flat, probably not. You probably want to slacken it off and start up again. Okay, so then when it comes to actually playing the guitar, you might want to get yourself a plectrum, or at first, if you're looking at being a Mark Knopfler or playing a lot of classical guitar well or whatever, then maybe you just want to use your fingers. That's up to you. But you're going to want to do some exercises and learn to get those fingers moving. So the first thing we're going to look at, this is it, straight in, if you want to play guitar. We're going to do ourselves some sonic shapes. A sonic shape is just quite simply a shape on the fretboard that just happens to make a sound. Sonic shape. It's not really music, it's just an exercise. So if we pick somewhere along the fretboard where we think might be comfortable to play, I'm going to say the 9th fret, which is normally, depending on how the dots are on your guitar, 2, 3 is the 3rd dot, 4, 5 is the next dot, 6, 7, and then 8, 9, and then you'll always get 2 spaces before the 12th. We'll make that more obvious why in another lesson on theory. But there's 2 spaces before the 12th, so the 9th fret is the dot that's got 2 blank frets after it. And we're going to put our first finger, that's the one next to your thumb, 1, 2, 3, your pinky's number 4. We're going to put our first finger right on the 9th fret. And we're going to quite simply squeeze. This is in the space behind that metal bar, and we are going to squeeze out a note like this. Then we shall follow on with our next finger in the next space on the same string. Next finger, next space, same string. Next finger, next space, same string. And finally, this is going to be horrible when you first start playing. Bend that wrist, push in there, it's nasty. Get your pinky down, and you're going to get the last note out. If that comes out a bit buzzy and horrible, don't worry about it. The more you do it and the more you get used to bending round, eventually you don't have to pull any silly faces and the notes can just come out, but it's going to take a little bit of time. It's okay. Do the same on the next string. Do the same on the next string. Do the same on the next string. Do the same on the penultimate string. And then on the final string. There we go, bit of vib. I'll come to what that is later. So, that is your first sonic shape. Quite simply trying to get used to using all of the different fingers. Wouldn't wouldn't be a bad idea to say the names of the strings as you go, to try and get those in your head. So that's E, A, D, G, B, E again. Now, that isn't music, as you can tell. If I can play them in a different order. Still not really music, is it? But it will get you moving and your digits and being able to have the dexterity you need when you're then studying and reading a piece of music or learning off of one of my future videos or whatever. Okay, that's it for the absolute introduction to the guitar. Once you've practiced that a bit, or once you've bought yourself a guitar and practiced that a bit, then move on to my next video and I will show you how to play some scales and some chords, getting you ready to play some songs and some tunes. If you don't know what scales and chords are, don't worry, I explain it in the lesson. Okay, thanks for watching, I'll see you next time.